We do frustration. Namo Manjo Shri Namo So Shri Namo Namo Shri Namo Manjo Shri Namo So Shri Namo Namo Shri So Namo Manjo Shri Namo So Shri Namo Namo Shri So I share businesses with that order. They should take their body, something to get their spine, to get on the shell of your boys. Please adjust your sitting posture according to the 7 meditative postures of Vairocana. Think, all sentient beings have been my mothers. All sentient beings have been my mothers, not just once, but for numberless times. All sentient beings are as kind as my mother in this life. Even though all kind mother sentient beings want happiness and do not want even the small suffering, due to mistakenly engaging with objects of adoptions and abandonment, they do not experience any happiness but suffering. In our minds, sincerely generate loving kindness towards all kind mother sentient beings by thinking, how nice it would be if all kind mother sentient beings were to have excellent happiness and the causes of happiness that are virtues. May they have excellent happiness and its causes. I'll cause them to have excellent happiness and its causes. Lama deity, please bless me to be able to do so. Next, we generate compassion towards all suffering mother sentient beings by thinking, how nice it would be if all mother sentient beings were free from all suffering and the causes of suffering that are non-virtues. May they be free from all suffering and its causes. Our freedom from all suffering and its causes. Lama deity, please bless me to be able to do so. Next, we generate bodhicitta. First, we ask ourselves, who should take the responsibility to free all mother sentient beings from the sufferings of samsara and lower realms? I should take the responsibility to free all mother sentient beings from the sufferings of samsara and lower realms. Even though I should take the responsibility, I do not have the ability to place them in the state of perfect, complete enlightenment now. Who has such abilities? Only those who have achieved the state of perfect, complete enlightenment have the abilities to do so. Therefore, for the sake of all mother sentient beings, by all means, I will achieve the state of enlightenment. Next, we generate all-encompassing yoga mind, the aspiring conventional bodhicitta that thinks, for the sake of all mother sentient beings, I will achieve the state of enlightenment. These transform into the aspect of a complete mundis at one's heart. And the ultimate bodhicitta, which is one's mind becoming in one taste with emptiness of inherent existence of all phenomena. These transform into a white five-pronged vajra on top of the mundis. Next, we meditate on emptiness for a short while. The self and the aggregates do not exist as inherently one. If they were inherently one, they would necessarily establish as partless one. If there were partless one, there would be false. It would be pointless to assert a self. Self will become many. Self would arise and disintegrate. It will be unreasonable to remember past lives. And what one has done would be wasted. One would meet with karma that one has not done. Therefore, the self and the aggregates do not exist as inherently one. The self and the aggregates also do not exist as inherently different. If they were inherently different, they would necessarily establish as unrelatedly others. The self and the aggregates do not exist as inherently different, thus is empty of inherent existence. It's very important to conjoin the roots of virtue of our three doors with the practice of six perfections. As to conjoin these roots of virtue with the practice of six perfections, it is as follows. The first one is generosity. The nature of generosity is an intention of giving. These 2 hours of listening, contemplating, and meditating on the Dharma is for the arising of happiness and purifying the sufferings of all sentient beings. If I engage in this manner, then these roots of virtue will be conjoined with the practice of generosity. Next is morality. The nature of morality is a mind of abandonment. During these 2 hours of listening, contemplating, and meditating on the Dharma, I will properly abandon my physical and verbal misdeeds without letting them manifest. If I engage in this manner, then these roots of virtue will be conjoined with the practice of morality. Next is patience. The nature of patience is an undisturbed mind. During these 2 hours of listening, contemplating, and meditating on the Dharma, I will patiently endure the physical and mental hardships and suffering. If I engage in this manner, then these roots of virtue will be conjoined with the practice of patience. Next is joyous effort. The nature of joyous effort is a mind enthusiastic for virtue. I will joyfully and enthusiastically engage in listening, contemplation, and meditation on the Dharma. If I engage in this manner, then these roots of virtue will be conjoined with the practice of joyous effort. Next is concentration. The nature of concentration is a mind that single-pointedly abides on virtuous object. I will single-pointedly focus my mind on the virtuous object without being overcome by distractions and discursive thoughts. Last one is wisdom. The nature of wisdom is a knower that thoroughly distinguishes phenomena. I will properly and unmistakably understand the words and meanings of the Dharma that I listen to, contemplate, and meditate on. If I engage in this manner, then these roots of virtue will be conjoined with the practice of wisdom. Set a good motivation. For the sake of all mother sentient beings, I will achieve the state of enlightenment. For this, I will listen to the holy teaching and practice properly, and in order to benefit sentient beings. So previously we talked about Buddha, Dharma, and assembly. So assembly is Sangha. So we talk about these three jewels. Each of these jewels can be divided into two, and they are divided terminologically into two. So, like for example, Buddha jewel can be divided into two. The two are the ultimate Buddha jewel and conventional Buddha jewel. Dharma, similarly, then can be divided into ultimate Dharma jewel and conventional Dharma jewel, and Sangha jewel is also divided into the same conventional. Two are from the perspective of terminology, so they are divided terminologically. So previously we already talked about this. So just as a recap, so it says this passage reveals that which is a Buddha included within the three Buddha bodies, Dharma jewels included within the two paths and two cessation, and the assembly of Mahāyāna superiors, the Sangha jewels. So these three shows the temporary and ultimate objects of refuge. So we have come to this basic element. So basic element, it says the Tathāgata essence, the basic element, which includes the suchness with defilement and the potential that exists in sentient beings' mind to produce supramundane qualities. So when we talk about basic elements, then this basic element or the Tathāgata essence, which includes the suchness with defilement and the potential that exists in sentient beings' mind to produce supramundane qualities. So these two actually indicates the two types of lineage, and then the two types of lineage are one is the two types of lineage is um, naturally abiding lineage and developmental lineage. So it indicates two lineages. One is naturally abiding lineage, and the second one is developmental lineage.
That comes in the reason that also to brush the was that is that you will that's so new. That kind of also come there. That are getting the changes in issue. What I'm going to choose not to come research. Sanji research and she will take his choose of Sanji Kundu, which is there and that was you get a Sanji Kundu, which is the Sanji Divis. But that did as it chooses and Yama, that church. That's not research. Get you much Sanji Kundu, Sanji is.
So when we talk about these basic elements, the Tathāgata essence, so previously we also covered the definitions or the entity of Buddha lineage. So as a recap, so since it's very important, so I will talk about it again. So when we talk about these definitions of Buddha lineage or entity of Buddha lineage, then the definitions is phenomenon that is suitable to become body of a Buddha. A phenomenon that is suitable to become a body of a Buddha.
그런 상지의 리스와 근시기 다 리들마 아마 이유데 이내리의 진주 리스 니레오로와 어디 니레오디 그런 니레지 뭐가 안다 방금 땡치에서 주고 좀맞지 생기 주니까 그건 뭐니 그들은 이니에서 그동안 그 배들 막 같은 위주로 들어와 야나들은 그래 저기 땡치에서 주고 좀맞지 생기 주니까 하지마 뭐니 그들은 기다 당시 리스 니레오와
So the suchness with defilements. So this indicates the naturally abiding lineage. So when we talk about basic element can be divided into these two, right? Naturally abiding lineage and developmental lineage. So the first one, the suchness with defilements. So this indicates the naturally abiding lineage, and the definitions that we have gone through of the definitions of naturally abiding lineage that we have gone through is the reality of the mind that is together with defilements, that is its supporting phenomenon, and suitable to become a nature truth body. And on the text says the potential that exists in sentient beings' minds to produce supramundane qualities, and this indicates the developmental lineage. So when we also talk about the definitions of developmental lineage. So you can say definitions, or you can say the entity of developmental lineage. And it says being a Buddha lineage. So being a Buddha lineage is the foundation. So being a Buddha lineage and suitable to become a compounded Buddha's body. So when we talk about this naturally abiding lineage, so naturally abiding lineage, it arises naturally since beginningless time. So this naturally abiding lineage arises naturally since beginningless time. And when we talk about developmental lineage, so developmental lineage arises from correct adoption through hearing and so forth. Developmental lineage arises from correct adoption through hearing and so forth. So hearings, contemplation, and meditation. So developmental lineage is something like this. So it arises from correct adoption through hearing and so forth.
맞아 되니까 인제 주시자기와 이제 주시자기라서 지와 상지시 어디 얘들이 인중에 기실에서 보러와 또서 인지 발견 산지체만 이거 좀 지시지와 독주 좀 인지 발견 산지체만 이거 좀 지시지와 어 되게 난다 난 이내리야 또就是상지지리 이제 상지지 연기 트랜지지 용례를 했어 네 나랑 이내리서 인지 봤어
And this naturally abiding lineage is like a treasure of precious jewels. It's like a treasure of precious jewels. So this treasure of precious jewels is the source of all jewels. This treasure of precious jewels. So this treasure itself is the source of all precious jewels. So similar and just like this naturally abiding lineage is the source of all Buddha's qualities, such as 10 powers, 4 fearlessnesses, and 18 unmixed or unique qualities. So I repeat, so this naturally abiding lineage is like a treasure of precious jewels. So this treasure of precious jewels is the source of all precious jewels. It's the source of origins of all precious jewels. So just like this, these naturally abiding jewels is the source of all Buddha's qualities, such as 10 powers, 4 fearlessnesses, and also 18 unique or unmixed qualities.
뭐 되죠 아무도 제주도에 있어도 신인 접붙제단다고 해서 시 진식은 접붙제단다고 해서 이들이 있어도 와 같은 가서 이제를 배차고 와 그러니까 이들이 무엇다 제주도에 차고 와 제주도에 있어도 시 아까다 같이 차고 와 진짜 연주 있어도 미신 접붙제단다고 해서 와나 진신 접붙제대 나 줄이 소지 장바나 나 줄이 소지 장바나 완전 뭐라 이렇게 이런 것도 줄이려서 뭐 저기나 그러나 우리 그분은 표현 요한하시 이나시 얘기하고
And this developmental lineage is similar to trees with fruit. Trees with fruit. So this developmental lineage is like a tree with fruits. So because if this tree with fruit is nourished by conditions such as water, fertilizers, and so forth, then its fruits will grow more and more. So this is the example, and then the meaning that it indicates is
진주리 때 간다 웬들라 진주리 때 그래서 있어 뭐 거기나 연대가 공개 공답 그런데 때 비든 하시와 그래서 주세 따와이나 그러나 나 연대나 공개 공답 되는 거예요
so through this example, it illustrates that this developmental lineage, if it is nourished by hearing and so forth, the qualities will increase more and more.
간다 리데니라다 라기니를 진주리 데니를 그러나 무슨 도가 되는 거래서 와 무슨 도가 되는 거래서 와 무슨 간이 무슨 라기니를 미네 근데 이시 소소네 와 이시 소소네 뭐니 와 뭐니 그래서 라기니를 미네다 간다 뭔가 라기니를 미네다 뭐니 저기 이시 소소네 와 이시 소소네 이시 소소와 되게 다도 되고 도서 뭐니
And these two lineages, naturally abiding lineage and developmental lineage, will attain the three, will become the attainments of three bodies. So these two lineages will become the attainment of three bodies. So this is because this naturally abiding lineage. So if we meditate upon observing this naturally abiding lineage, then one will accumulate collections of wisdom, and eventually one will attain the nature truth body.
간다 이거 진주리데 다간다 샴바데 니제 장주 생기 생기고네 나 보내 본도 배워시데 세상에 초산 나도 수고 이와 누가도 간다 뭐니고 진주리데 뭐니 양양도 배 장주 생다 와 장주 생의 샴바니 길어서 생기더니 오늘 본도 배도디 간다 나도 저부터 가서 나 고내 본도 배에 초산 초사 가서 세상에 초서 되게 세상에 초 아 세상에 초 되게 다도 근데 보대 알았으나 수고시대 와 수고가 라진 조시 저 뭐도 세상에 초도 와 세상에 초 아 세상에 초도 사 가서 제일 와 아 상지 좀 봐야 도와니
수고라지 교대 수고상하기 소.
수고가 아닌 거지 너 딱다 저기 없다 이래 아 세상에 초도 관리 있어서나 제일 와 제일인데 아니 이제 자주도 생기 거네 오늘 본도 배워시대 그 세상에 초산에 다 그리고 다도 예를 수도 해서 와.
Yeah. So this naturally abiding, if we meditate upon observing naturally abiding lineage, then we will accumulate collections of wisdom, and eventually we will attain the results, which is a nature truth body. And this developmental lineage, so through conjoining the developmental lineage with loving kindness, compassion, and bodhicitta, so it will increase further, it will increase more and more. And through these, one accumulate collections of merit, and eventually one will attain form body.但是上帝上的主要是So the cause for the outcome, which is the form body, is the collections of merit, and the cause for the outcome of nature truth body is the collections of wisdom. So one is collections of merit is the cause for the outcome of form body, and the collections of wisdom is the cause for the outcome of nature truth body. So another way of saying this is in the causes to attain the Buddha ground. Causes to attain the Buddha ground are these two: naturally abiding lineage and developmental lineage. So in other words, is in order to attain this the state of so in order to attain the state of Buddha's body, then we need these two: naturally abiding lineage and conventional and developmental lineage. And in order to attain these, then we need the accumulations of merit. So we need to accumulate the collections of merit and the collections of wisdom. So the collections of the culminations of the collections of merit is form body, and the culminations of collections of wisdom is nature truth body. The culminated, or you can say the culminations of collections of wisdom, that is nature truth body, and the combinations of collections of merit is form body. 상계 교육이 고대로.
我弟弟，但我弟弟看他那个他写的方法的话，我弟弟，那这原来你留的，但也是你的长期说，但也是情况，他多把看的吧，已经结果上我是多把看的吧，对吧？已经就你看已经结果多把看的，多把看的定，那长期说的，
多把타도 받아 예시 타도 받아 지바지야.
那也是长期，也是有长期说的，他看他多把看，赶紧做一呢，讲多的话，我。一去过，他并没去过，他听到多多一起去，我一起去过，我对的，那听到听到你来我的强是吧？听到你来我吧，那等你我这哪里听到这些我不见才，不是，当时我我把他的平时啊，都把他们写着了，别的，那叫什么？你是看到，我是那边嘛到，那都是地方，哪里看到我是什么？你说强者，你说那个在是的，你都对地方。
아니多把타도 봐이나 디 상계 교육이 남대.
어디.
多把타도 봐이나?
똑같아도
이시죠. 디 상계 교육이 고대나 디.
어디에 보면
빠마 타도 봐라. ini 디多把타도 봐이나 디 미세기야. 야 상계 교육이 상계 교육이 이시죠. 남대 말어.
남대스냐 그래 남대 이거 당하고 니 여기 시추고 이게 쉬어와 이거는
지상이 대한 남대 디자.
남대
나도. Yeah, so there is the brief explanations on basic element. So we will revisit this basic element, the Tathāgata essence, again and again. So this is just a brief explanations on basic element. So next is enlightenment. So here it says the enlightenment that consists of the ultimate transformation of exalted wisdom and abandonments. So the enlightenment that consists of the ultimate transformations of exalted wisdom and abandonments. So actually, these ultimate transformations of exalted wisdom and abandonments are related to, or the same as the perfect abandonment and perfect realization. So in Lamrim, when we explain the title itself, so then we say Gyaltsab Lamrim, right? So Gyaltsab itself, we already explained that it indicates the perfect abandonment and perfect realization, right? So here, these ultimate transformations of exalted wisdom and abandonments are the same thing. So the culminated exalted wisdom and culminated abandonments. So this relates to the perfect realization and perfect abandonments. So this perfect abandonment refers to the nature truth body. Because the nature truth body is the purity of adventitious. Yeah, it touching be bang be cha se de go de se yo de mo ni go de se yo ro mo ni go she mo ni go she. Yeah. So this culminated abandonment is the nature truth body. So it's the nature truth body that is the purity of adventitious defilements. So when we talk about these abandonments here, so here it says abandonment. So these culminated abandonments or perfect abandonments refers to the nature truth body that is the perfect. So that is the purity of adventitious defilement, and this refers to the true cessation in the continuum of a Buddha. This refers to the true cessation in the continuum of a Buddha. And the second one is exalted wisdom. So exalted wisdom refers to the perfect realization, perfect realizations, and it is a wisdom truth body. And it is the wisdom truth body.
我的说，我在那个说，说的了，你看我也不的，开始呢，suku你到我写了我的，是吧？suku了我谈到那个是suku现在嘛是讲就上去去公布了，是吧？上去公布做成就的，那等到的可就嘛起掉了嘛，人家上了单位呢，你就开始的帮帮说的，帮帮我的，帮帮他这个上去我的，但一系列的就是那么多。你的长期但你出不了，你这个，记住，
所以你是
对对，长度的问题吧，我已经长度是吧的，我也是去过，到把跳的，去不是的，那到把跳的，去过去了的那个时候， 장주에 그래서 그때 장주로 그래 뭐 장주 장주에 뭐 니고데 나래 뭐 뒤에서 그러와 내가
수구 대한 장교제.
수구도 장주에서 뭐 니고도 장주에서 그러와 뭐다 대다 드려서
sometimes 讲究样的我尼古那也是出的嘛，是吧？那点수구 니两些有了。
수구를 맞아 장주들아 뭐 니고도 수구스 니샤고
我尼古那是有，跟我尼古那也是出过人下当机有的，那点我尼古那是过，人你人下当机有的，那说。
但수구는是차대他都想去都想
수구 니，身体有帮做三九了，
사줘는 봐
我帮基本几个，
와 이나 나가서 뭐 되게 대단하지다 시바가 대단하지 제발 시오로 아 시주고서 맞아 대단한 장주다 여도 대단한 대찬 거로 대단한 장주서 맞아 이 시주고다 아 어디 이 차도
也是出的，
어디
也让固定给对当当，让那的写法给对当，也是给对当。
방바다 또 빠니까 저도 니가 가서 주나에 빠는지 주나에 이게 딱 있고 요거 그것을 맞추고 와 바라다 소리
상관은 장소로.
빠니까 주 빠니까 이런 게 되는 와 그보다 그것을 와 나도 저 장비를 왜서는 일하고 봐 일하고 그래
帮助就了有点的一点舒服啊，帮助有点用户点都上马点讲出谁有了So next point is enlightenment, right? So this enlightenment, it says the enlightenment that consists of the ultimate transformations of exalted wisdom and abandonments, and then it relates to the explanations of Gyaltsab in the context of Gyaltsab Lamrim. So we also explains that what Gyaltsab refers to. So sometimes Gyaltsab is explained as a nature truth body and wisdom truth body. Sometimes Gyaltsab refers in certain contexts, then they explain Gyaltsab as nature truth body and form body. So it depends on from which perspective this Gyaltsab is explained. So it can be explained from the perspective of the truth cessation, or from the perspective of summary or condensation. So if it is by way of condensing through true cessation, then it will be the nature. Then you will have a certain. 實際上，國定嘅對當呢啲我呢個係是全部嚟，國定嘅對當，我呢個啦，這個，所講嘅。Yeah. So yeah, when Gyaltsab, so sometimes it can be explained as nature truth body and wisdom truth body. Sometimes it is explained as nature truth body and form body. So whichever it is, or whichever the case. So when you refer to someone who possess this perfect abandonment and perfect realization in continuum, then whether it is a form body or whether it is an enjoyment body and so forth, then all these are enlightenment. So when you say that someone who possess in his continuum perfect realization and perfect abandonment, so then the form body, it refers to the state of enlightenment. So and then this form body and the enjoyment body and so forth, all of these are enlightenment. Yeah. So so whether the form body is also called enlightenment, and the nature truth body is also called enlightenment as well.
他对这两个都是的，他有的时候来话，他有的时候的人说，有的时候的了，他有的那么有的是逆流是吧？我说这有的逆流是吧？这有的我说实习是吧？这有的我出去找你是找你是吧？出去找你开始，我觉得那个3级7门这个究竟是吧？ 我地话，对不是这老啥了，话，你就是生的话，那那米你的属是你的大干子属生的话，
先说就说你
我是生的话，
悲剧点说现
这
状
个，
现上的
大干的不应该起过来的，
And next one is excellent qualities. So excellent qualities, it says the qualities of separation and fruition relating to enlightenment. So the qualities of separation and fruition. So previously we also talked about these qualities of separation. They are 32, and then and there are also 32 qualities of fruition as well. So the 32 32 qualities of separation. Then, for example, 10 powers, 4 fearlessnesses, and 18 unique Buddha qualities. And the 32 qualities of fruition, it refers to the 32 signs, the 32 excellent signs. So basically, these 32 excellent signs refers to the qualities of the Buddha's body.
我在长期说的嘛是的，这个搞这个长期说的嘛是上级说的嘛，就身体说了有嘛是吧？身体说了还有嘛是吧？身体说了，这开始就觉得你跟他比较像，人就特别，但是那里不多少的吧？必须求个心里的，好了，对，我的不是，我一直去求个大家喜欢就啷个有的去求个之类的，我是吧？你求个之类的，我在的。那这一些基本上是我非常可取说，到这两个做嘛，有的出来的了，对，你的小娃你那里头去，小宝宝那里头去，你或者美国的有是吧？
一些错误给
一些出来，我出来，可是就那个这个已经多少了吧？这个那个多少了吧？那一些就大家喜欢就能够晓得的，那一些就出来是吧？对吧？
有啲意思做天理清意啲咯，
大家有一些这个是吧？
真係叫嘅意思做過，
你这个把电喜欢，
冇錯，
这一些就可以，我是啥看的？我能记过来是，
意思做過天理嚟，可能天理嚟，意思做過天理嘅事有咯，
真的喜欢是吧？
So next is enlightened activities, and finally enlightened activities. And he says the enlightened activities of perfect and complete Buddhas. So when we talk about enlightenment, and enlightenment only exists on the Buddha ground, and it doesn't exist when one is still, when one is a sentient being. So enlightenment only exists on the Buddha ground, and it doesn't exist on the ground of a sentient being. So these enlightened activities, then when we talk about these enlightened activities, so previously we also talked about these enlightened activities, the definitions of enlightened activities of wisdom truth body. So the definitions of enlightened activities of wisdom truth body is a very positive, excellent quality, a reason from an exalted wisdom truth body that so these the definitions of enlightened activity of wisdom truth body is a very positive, excellent quality, a reason from an exalted wisdom truth body that acted as the empowering condition is its cause. So,
我那买有的，我原来就吃的，十八块的，你是那个是，我那个买有的，小我原来有吃的是呢，我必须就是，你知道吧？
直接举例，
你看我干啥子？
举例给我，
我就是有啊，我十八过了，手机上有的十八过了有意思，我吃的，我一个人吃的给你了，
生意泡泡上去，
手机上就有啊，这十八过了有意思的，小鱼了有吃的啥的，是有啊，我知道，反正，可以的，小鱼了有吃的是的话，等到吃的话，我一个人电脑记录，是吧？那么接不接的，在历史的话。 对，
你去这边，
这边对吧？我结果有的吃的你第一次，结果有的，
几万人也都有，现在的你嘛，的你然后就有了，
你什么？
我讲，
我晓得，为什么呢？什么不你是是吧？离婚，那么结果也为呢，那吃的第二次，
So these definitions of enlightened activities of wisdom, truth, body is a uh, very positive, excellent quality, arisen from an exalted wisdom, truth, body that acted as the empowering condition that is its cause. So when this enlightened activity of exalted wisdom body is uh, divided by way of by way of nature, by way of entity, then it can be divided into two. So these two, first one is exalted activities, everything in the objects of the action. I repeat, exalted activities existing in the objects of the action. And the second one is exalted activities existing in the agent. Exalted activities existing in the agent. So when these enlightened activities is divided by way of entity, then it can be divided into two. And these two are exalted activities existing in the objects of the action and the exalted activities existing in the agent. So exalted activities existing in the objects of action. So these objects of action, this first activity, enlightened activity refers to the virtues in the continuum, the virtues in the continuum of disciples. So disordered activities existing in the objects of the action, it refers to virtues in the continuum of disciples. And disordered activities existing in the agent, for instance, the virtue, they are included within the continuum of an Arya Sangha, of a Arya Buddha, Arya Buddha, or Buddha Arya. So I repeat the second one. So the virtue, they are included within the continuum of Buddha Arya, then is the example of disordered activities existing in the agent.
我的其他的，
茶位有呢，就just 食用，其他包包呢，點樣生意食用，生意泡泡的食用。So the object of the actions refers to the disciples, and agent, the second one, the agent refers to Buddha Arya. So when enlightened activities are divided by way of entity, then it can be divided into these two.
我的，对了吧？我说看到咱这自己到外头去的嘛，你最起码得这个去是吧？那就想这咱这那个是吧？那上去去做看的强烈的，那上进去他们第一些，他这里嘛，我认识多是吧？什么我这就是是吧？那这两天里面练是吧？那这两天这个练是吧？他对我嘛，是的，对呀，跟反正已经过去了，国际人民的国是是吧？我的这个，那是。
So this is the brief explanations on these 7 Vajra points. So, and we are going to talk about it later. So revisit these 7 points later. So next we go to these 2 lines.
比如说，
你錄完俾幾咗啦啩？揸翻先。
那到我们那个，那话，那讲到的我嘛的，我把它的要的，我那时候在那做，你往是写不当，是吧？你这是这个的，这是，你往把看嘛，你嘛，我说就是说，你的核心是那个，就你嘞，是吧？对吧？对吧？对的了，那刚才有的推你，
有嘢咧啲，咁，
哇，对的了，反正。他也有这种嘛这种话，
thank you，
我
thank you，原點聽你，
就有这我的，这个话，那这是嘛就，你看到嘛，本地的嘛，稍微的，你这个手，这头绪就，这头绪，对，这手。
Kamina so the debu,
不对哇，
kuncho sum the debu sha.
对吧？
Oh.
别不哇，
Mm.
就是别不哇，
Mm.
对不对？那康的对吧？对吧？
Yeling you. Mm.
但是这个吧，很对的，你们就是说的话，我干嘛我这我是这也才这说，
Mm. Yeah, so when we talk about these 7 points, then it can be divided. They can be grouped from the perspective of cause and cause, condition, and effect or result. So the first three jewels, Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha, are the results, and basic element is the cause, or you can say is a substantial cause, and enlightenment, excellent qualities, and enlightened activities, and they are conditions. So there are three results. The three results refers to the three jewels, and then one substantial cause refers to basic element, and there are three conditions, and these three conditions are enlightenment, excellent qualities, and enlightened activities.
我这个是把这些对吧？你刚才对我这个根据规律，你多的他都去你给他过去了对吧？他这个点他嘛是对吧？那可能他就是引起了主心吧的，你觉得没家长，他这今天我没说对吧？
啊，刚了是，
这个刚进对吧？就是引起了主心吧的，他成功的时候，让这个往的些吧的一些对吧？这个我刚才留下给你写，你这个没这里，他这个内容是吧？我这里等着我们买写是吧？我在这里。你就说引起了主心吧的，那就很理解了，很理解。他讲对了，说让你能用这种的写法的，就叫什么？对的。
So here, three jewels, the three jewels that which is already established in the continuum of others, and enlightenment and so forth, to be that which will arise in one's continuum. So here, so the three jewels that are already established in the continuum of others, it refers to also refuge, and enlightenment and so forth that will arise in our own continuum are the resultant refuge. So again, this we will talk about it, and we will explain it more extensively in the future.
他就我们的，他讲的然后听就听吧，你说，他讲的听就听就是，那听进的节日嘛，对不对？那你刚刚做的呢，我天哪，我听就听，也是天哪，我听是吧？听进的节日，他听了我们这个节日的，是吧？你让我听进的节日，天哪，我听的也是，有些听进更就没说的，做的呢，我们听的，我觉得念经我这的，那是不少，他我是他听的吧？不得听的是吧？那地方人家，反正是用我这个时间多老师吧，你的领导嘛，家里那从点到个电视多地的嘛，晓得，我点到通过点到这个没错吧？农村的话是，一个方的30方的要叫这个修的话，他点到都是这里，是吧？
So next outline is enumerations of 7 or definite in 7. So it says the body of the entire treatise is condensed into these 7 vajra points. So this is the root verse, the third and fourth line of first verse in the first chapter. First chapter, first verse, third and fourth line. So it says the body of the entire treatise is condensed into these 7 vajra points. So and the commentary says, if we summarize the subject matter of this treatise, so subject matter or object of expression in this treatise, then it can be reduced to 7 objects of realization, or it can be grouped into these 7 objects of realization, and the words of the treatise itself can be condensed into the 7 vajra-like points of realization. So it refers to the points of 7 vajra-like. So alternatively, if we summarize all the citations connecting these 7 points back to the questions of King Dharani Svara Sutra, they can be condensed into these 7 as well. So if we summarize the citations, then it can be condensed into these 7 as well.
Okay. 다가나 대체지 되게 된다 길을 와. 뭐지 되는. 다디 원마가 난 시험이 길을 하나서 대시를 맞아. 대나버디 도지다. 네에서 되게 그렇게 됐다. 넘버 딩보데 도지다고 와. 이 니를 거리네. 와 니를 거리네. 되게 맞다 시지내고도. 다음에 대시를 우리 원마 담보 한번에 가방에 소소 장기시 비기 또 대나버디는 도지다. 그래서 데이터 아무데와 하반에 소소나 비시비 기도 되는 바디는 디지털 그래서 뭐듯이.
So then commentary, then extensive explanation and summary. Then under extensive explanation, the first outline is, sub-outline is reasons for calling them Vajra-like and points. So in other words, is the reason for the etymology of Vajra-like points. Then we go to this, then here it says teaching. So teaching is one of the subdivisions of this outline. Then it says the 7 actualities to be realized. So the 7 actualities to be realized, another translation for this can be 7 objects of realization. By an Arya's individually experienced exalted wisdom are Vajra-like. So Arya's individually experienced exalted wisdom can also be translated as Arya's exalted wisdom of individual self-knowledge. So I repeat. So these 7 actualities to be actualized can also be translated as 7 objects of realization, or it can be as 7 objects of realization. And then by an Arya's individually experienced exalted wisdom are Vajra-like. And these Arya's individually experienced exalted wisdom, another translation for these can be Arya's exalted wisdom of individual self-knowledge.
다데 바바는 수도선 비시비 넘버 팀 디지털. 다데 템버시 비슷해 주제들과 대 넘버 팀보데 템버시 이기 소스한테 이 니르스 니 와시고 니스와다 대 넘버 팀보데 와시고 대 넘버 팀보데 싸와시고 대 넘버 팀보데 템버시 이제 그 주지 손레보다 되나와 그래서 로직이 니스와 근데 되레스 니스와서 바 와시고 그 주지로 그 주지들과 대 넘버 팀보데 와 대 고와시고 대 싸와시고 대 넘버 팀보데 템버시 신 차네 그 로직이 니스에서 그들이
도지다 보이나 디 주자리 니 도지다 비니 이나 디 주지
주지 근데 이제 텐션 지금 또 뒤가 봐 감각이 이런 게 거라 뭐 근데 시우기 단전 문제 같지가
So the 7 actualities to be realized by an Arya's individually experienced exalted wisdom are Vajra-like, and these Vajra-like are the objects of expression. So these are the object of expression or the subject matter related to this one. So subject matter of this treatise. And then the next one, it says, and the words that serve to show these are the points, as these words are the basis of teaching, clarifying, and understanding this, they are Vajra points. So these points related to this one. So the words of the treatise itself can be condensed into the points of 7 Vajra-like. Can be condensed into, here it says it can be condensed into 7 Vajra-like points of realization, right? So the words of the treatise itself, here words can also translated as the expressive words or the expressor. So one is subjects of expression, and here the words are the expressor or that which expresses. So the words, the expressor words, the treatise itself can be condensed into these points. So here it says, and the words that serve to show these are points. So as these words are the basis of teaching, clarifying, they are the basis of teaching, they are the basis of clarifying, and they are the basis of forcing understanding. So they are called Vajra points. And basically, the adversar word collections of words refers to these treatises.
And then because this sort of number devoted Chinese thinking, number devoted so she can think in so she rigid program that's on was he needs to get going to be getting down need to see get the show you are there's on the show.
And here it says words, right? So words does not refers to the basic way of understanding about names, terms, and words. So we do not refer to just the words just that. So when we talk about words here in this context, words refers to this treatise. It refers to this treatise that expresses the seven actualities. So seven actualities or seven actualities to be realized or seven objects of realization. Then it kind of up to this my understanding up to this point in English wise, then they are used kind of interchangeably. Seven actualities to be realized, seven objects of realization. So the treatise, words here refers to the treatise that expresses the seven actualities. So you can also say, in other words, you can also say that the treatise that clarifies or elucidates the seven actualities. So basically, the expressor, the words refers to the expressor, which is this treatise.
Dojitaba said the yoga Kiowa, and number vegetable requested. But Jato was used to be such Jedom Rashi. Dato to all the Tobago. Dato wants to Dato positive, he wants to be such Jedom Rashi. Yes, that and that. Dato will new months. Not the one on that. Two Maris, King Maris,
Gatogi,
new Maris. 나도 그것이 좀 말해서 꼭 말해서 나 저도 봐서 이거 도지 답을 해서 너무 와. 나 도지 답을 써서 가서 하여튼 도지서도 찾고 예. 까와 깔래고 찾고 떼서 먹게 나서 봐. 이거지 맞아 돼지 맞아 저다 맞아 제시 도지서 지와 제가 도지 방아서 지와 도지서도 나도 봐. 하여튼 봐. 이거지 부분은 뭐가 있대거나 하여튼 깔래고 싶어요. 그래서 아보 잡고 있게 와. Well, this was that Dadobe was used to Baji. Chiндeva, Jedem, Yamato, Datu which Tawa in the Mana, where the Chini treated visible.
So he says, regarding these, the seven actualities to be realized are known as Vajra-like because they are in the nature of being inexpressible, even having completed the realization of them through terms and concepts. Yeah. So here it says the seven actualities to be realized are known as Vajra-like. So these seven actualities are known as Vajra-like. And then when we talk about Vajra in general, Vajra is something hard, solid, and then difficult to penetrate and so forth. Then it's just like Doje Palam. So Doje Palam is diamond. So right, if you need to make a hole through diamond, then it's very difficult to do so, right? It's very difficult to pierce through it. So similarly, these seven actualities are Vajra-like because they are in the nature of being inexpressible. Says having completed the realizations of them through terms and concepts. So in other words, they are in the nature of being inexpressible by way of complete modes of realization by terms and thoughts. So what does it mean by they are in the nature of being inexpressible, even having completed the realizations of them through terms and concepts? Is they are not the direct object. So these seven actualities are not the direct object of terms and concepts. So in other translation, it is terms and, in other words, terms and thoughts, concepts, or you can say conceptual thoughts, or you can say thoughts. So they are in the nature of being inexpressible by way of modes of realization by terms and thoughts, means that they are not the direct objects of terms and thoughts.
근데 컴퓨터 출력 취잡아나 시지 그것도 그래 해서 와 무슨도 무슨도 출력 취잡아나 시 무슨 좀 비슷히 또 봐이나 무슨 좀 비슷히 또 봐이나 출력 취잡아나 시 우리 무슨 비슷히 또 그래 해서 당연히 잡도 들이 우영 그거 또 봤을 때는 한다 니나가 집이 주시 또야 마도 근데 출력 취잡아나 시또 우영 또 우영 뭐 된다 나도 혹시 무슨 좀 비슷히 또 그거에서 무슨 좀 비슷히 되는 Yes, that is what we did. That is it. Most of the people are kind of progress now. The church are not so much to do. Yes, of course. Kind of did, right?
So if we, so here he says, even having completed the realization, so complete modes of realizations of these seven actualities, how would it be? So if one if one realize it by way of complete realization, complete modes of realizations of these seven actualities, then it would be like pouring water into water. So the way of realizing it will be like pouring water into water. Then in other way of saying this is, in other words, is one realize it directly. So one realize it directly like pouring water into water. So this is the complete modes of realizations of these seven actualities. And why do we? And here it says that it is in the nature of being inexpressible by way of complete modes of realizations of terms and concepts of thoughts, means that these terms and thoughts, they are unable to realize it directly through terms and thoughts. These seven actualities cannot be realized directly, but to be realized together with dualistic appearance.
我的的，他刚才多去打过时候，但是的，我去打过也是打白看了，他不给钱的话，我去打过也是等他不给钱的，那说自己多去说的嘛，自己多去说，咱们就那样子多去，多去嘛是别靠谱去话，多去多去管靠谱，也能是话，自己多去的别，而且批发高啊，是的啦，有个就批发高啊，那是，但是就批发高啊，也是那个，就是。도저히 싫어, 싸기 싫어. 이 공급이 이게 공급이 싫어. 그거 아주 나와 그래서 무슨 주가 나와 그래서
무슨 또 약하고
무슨 나와 그래서 저 무슨 또 나와 그래서 그걸 취잡아서 또 그거 말해서 그래서 대상지원 그 필요가 나와 그래서 그거와 그래서 도저히다 님 지금 제지 도저히 이 필요가 나와 시와 제지 도저히 이제 필요가 나와 시 아마도 단데 대상지 피바 까와레스. 대상지 히어로로 하더라. 되게 지잖아. 상주기 히어로다. 근데 고주 히어로 하나
Jitebi.
Kero, Darwin, to you.
Jitebi now, the kind of Jitem, got.
To you, Shero, what you did, go to Shero,
Papa, my image them.
Molanka,
The Jitembe,
what this was, what that is sugar. Yes, I can put that. Which it happened because she would not hit.
Jolanki Kapsu Toba.
Oh,
the Jitembe, Jungi Shira.
that's a tobacco. Is do not lose seal to my master. There's something about it. We should be sure that some people here are done that the power is a lot. Use of power is.
Yeah. So this Vajra-like. So Vajra also indicates something difficult, solid, hard, and so forth. So and like the theg doji na so biju tagi doji there right. Ze raza da zada ze raza da data de. Oh, and also the substantial doji. So substantial doji refers to the doji that the doji instrument that we use. So, they are substantial doji. So it also implies something very solid, hard, difficult to penetrate. So, and in relation to this context, so Vajra-like. So Vajra-like means that it is difficult to be directly realized by wisdom arisen from hearing, contemplation, and meditation, and meditations of worldly beings. So here, when we say Vajra-like, so it means that it is difficult to penetrate these seven actualities. Means that it is difficult to directly realizing them. Yeah, it's difficult to directly realize them. So, and it is very difficult to be directly realized by wisdom arisen from hearing, wisdom arisen from contemplation, and wisdom arisen from meditation by worldly beings. And this wisdom arisen from meditation by worldly beings is attained at the occasions of path of preparation. So basically, what it means is when you say Vajra-like is very difficult to be directly realized, even by the wisdom of hearing, contemplation, and meditation by worldly beings. So in other words, it is very difficult to be realized by way of pouring water into water.
That's what you do. That thinking about the budget of and that's not. When you choose you are, you never put them on. You give up. And some don't even listen.
You can show me.
When you should let you do. Can't don't even listen. Get up. That is the question of the water and that. Which double the budget of it. Shit, that's not. When you should you so much. Can't don't much. This was I have to get up. I want to get up.
So there are many etymological explanations for Vajra-like. So besides the explanation just now, so Vajra-like can also be explained etymologically from the aspect of being very powerful, solid, and solid, that it cannot be harmed by opponents. It cannot be harmed by opponent or discordant class, but it has the ability to overcome others, or has the ability to destroy others. So this Vajra-like can also explain as something very powerful that is invulnerable to opponent's harm, and it has the ability to overcome others.
I did it in war. That the Jita will just run. So never give it to her. I don't need that.
Yeah, so he also has these meanings of being very powerful, that is invulnerable to opponent's harm, and it has the ability to overcome others.
But the leader the share in was a drinking, but if you share, 다 되는 어떤데 또 나보다 가르치고 또 가와래. 그 샤가 가르쳐 그냥 컴춘이 그러시. 컴춘이 컴들라. 컴들 된다시.
Amchuni.
컴춘이 컴들와 가는 거서 민식으로 와. 니는 컴지와 다 컴춘이 가르치니 와. 뭐 딜을 지시고. 수호도 가서 때 대상지 피박. 와. 대상지 피박 가와. 자꾸 가와. 와. 대상지 또 가와. 내 수익 또 그러시나 다 밥이 인간자의 냠자의 기수도 수소를 빠져 뒤시고도 그러니까 수소를 하는 것이 이번에 수소를 하는 것 뒤시고도 보다 그건 수소를 하는 것이 와도 인양자 답이 인양자 답이 무슨 그라 추자 반하기 무슨 주주에 마도
Pabanyam Shatabu.
파원하자 와 남자 마시에서 무슨으로 원양자 답이 연단제 있어요. 연단은 운동 여러 연단제 양샤 이 무슨 지지지 마도 와 된다고 지지지 마도 다 가다 회사도 싫어지 그냥 비판 나와.
Zetanam Jiwi Yishigi Juyu.
뭐 된다제
Yishigi Juyu.
이거다. 합이 된다제 이거다.
Pabanyam Shatabu. Tundang Shawi.
이거다. 수도랑 그리고 그냥 그때 난자게 지지지 해. 이 지지지 마도 주위에서 출러 주자와 나시도 그러와. 주위에 마도 선지 비가 가만히 선지들이 좀 말이 나도 이제 나도 이거 들어와. 또 쓰대. 이제 좀 맞게 해야지. 선지 또 쓰고 되는 식으로 그래서 비가 가와. 또 이제 좀 이제 되는지. 와. 와 나도 이제 같이. 그러면 내가 또 누구로 또 뭐에 무슨 나도 이제 말했어. 그래서 말했어. 와, 대단히 반가워요. 가르치나 하고 된단 이제 인양하게 예, 무슨 이게 그래서 이제 예, 됐어. 근데 나 마시리스는 말이 이거 이제야.
Pabi Tundam Jiwi.
거기 된단 이제 거기 나셔 된단 이제 나셔 와. 이게 예. 와. 거기 된단 이제 나셔 이제 예. 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 나셔 마시리스 말이 이거 그냥 되는 시스템 가지고 그거리 그거 이제 여러 무슨 또 여러 와. 이거 이제 무슨 또 여러 어디 있으시고요.
Jiru Yishi Yangon Jugo.
요리에서 그냥 마시는 샤를 나요 많이 쓰는 거가
Then I'll read. Then it says, therefore, they are. So the seven Raja-like actualities are inexpressible because they are objects to be directly realized while qualified by ultimate truth. And inner awareness. So again, inner awareness is another translation for individual self-knowledge. So he said, and inner awareness does not only refer to an Arya's meditative equipoise and ultimate truth, but also a sorted wisdom of subsequent attainment. So this inner awareness or individual self-knowledge, it doesn't refer to Arya's meditative equipoise or the on ultimate truth. So Arya's meditative equipoise and ultimate truth. So in other words, is Arya's exalted wisdom of meditative equipoise, comprehending the ultimate. I repeat. So it does not only refer to Arya's meditative equipoise on ultimate truth. In other words, say, in other words, it is Arya's exalted wisdom of meditative equipoise, comprehending the ultimate. Yeah. So but also exalted wisdom of subsequent attainment. So this inner awareness or individual self-knowledge, for instance, is Arya's exalted wisdom of meditative equipoise on the ultimate or on ultimate truth. So, for instance, means that other than this, there are also they are inner awareness or individual self-knowledge as well. Like, for example, exalted wisdom of subsequent attainment. So Arya's exalted wisdom of meditative equipoise on ultimate truth is not the only it's not the only example, but there are also other examples as well, such as exalted wisdom of subsequent attainment. So when we say that these seven actualities, among these seven actualities, what is the main one? Which one is the main one that is very difficult to be realized, to be directly realized by wisdom, a reason from hearing, contemplation, and by a wisdom, a reason from meditation, wisdom of meditation of worldly beings, then among these seven, it refers to it is the basic element. Sorry, the basic element is the one among the seven actualities that is very difficult to be directly realized. To be to be realized by wisdom, a reason from hearing, a reason from wisdom, a reason from contemplation, and they are inexpressible by terms and thoughts. So is this basic element. So these basic elements also refers to reality. So sometimes it's also translated as final nature. Sometimes it's translated as a noumenon and so forth. So this reality or final nature, the basic element, among these seven actualities is the main one, or is the one that is very difficult to be directly realized. So yeah. So then the inner awareness or the individual self-knowledge, so it doesn't only refer to this areas exalted wisdom of meditative equipoise comprehending the ultimate truth, also refer to the exalted wisdom of subsequent attainment as well, because there are exalted wisdoms of subsequent attainment directly realizes these actualities. So we say that these actualities are very difficult to be realized, directly realized by wisdom, the reason from hearing, contemplation, and also meditations of worldly beings, right? So does it mean that these three types of wisdom, wisdom of hearing, wisdom of contemplation, and wisdom of meditation, do not realize ultimate truth at all? Then if one wonders, so do they not, has it, has it has it do these three wisdom realize ultimate truth, how's it, or can these three wisdom realize ultimate truth? So if you think that these three wisdoms cannot realize ultimate truth all, then that is not true. So these three wisdom together these three wisdom that includes a wisdom arisen from meditations that you obtain on the path of preparation. So can realize ultimate truth. They do realize, they can realize ultimate truth. It's just that they do not, their way of realization is not a complete mode of realization. So three wisdoms can realize ultimate truth. It's not like they cannot realize ultimate truth at all. So they can realize ultimate truth. It's just that their modes of realization is not a complete modes of realization. So what does it mean by complete modes of realization so complete modes of realization is direct realization of the objects of realization or seven actualities. In other way, it is direct realization like pouring water into water. So in other words, is complete modes of realization means one realizes these these actualities free what's that? One's direct realizations of these actualities are free of dualistic appearance. So we say that these three wisdom can realize actualities, right? These actualities, and how do they realize this? How do these three wisdoms realize activities? They realize together with dualistic appearance. They realize these actualities together with dualistic appearance, or with dualistic appearance. So these three wisdom cannot realize these actualities without any dualistic appearance or by modes of vanishing dualistic appearance. So these three wisdom can realize ultimate truth. It's just that their modes of realization is not a complete mode of realization. So what does complete modes of realization means? It means direct realization, like pouring water into water. In other words, its realization is free of dualistic appearance.
뒤에 토바가 뒤에서 뭐 차마 대대오를 했어. 어 뒤에 때와서 그 되게 싫어들 때는 상품 싫어다 보니까 싫어. 공부하기도 전에 어떻게 되나. 되게 되나. 어떻게 되나. 저라 생각만 하기. 어떻게 되나. 그래서
Yeah, so regarding this Vajra-like, then we have covered few etymological explanations of this Vajra-like. Like, for example, it's being inexpressible, it's very difficult to penetrate, and then and also that it is very powerful, that is invulnerable to opponent's harm, and it has the ability to overcome others and so forth. So, and then we talk about next we talk about next we talk about yeah. The next we talk about points. We talk about points itself. So it says if the written words used to express the seven objects, they express the Vajra-like points. So they are called points. Yeah, these points of Vajra-like. So these points of seven actualities then are the expressive words, right? So are the treaties are the expressor. Are the expressor. So basically refer to these treaties that express these seven objects or seven actualities. So these points refers to these treaties, which is the expressor that express the seven actualities. And he says, because the wisdom arisen from hearing realize them when hearing them for the first time. So here it means that in order to realize these actualities, in order to realize these actualities, one must first depends on the wisdom arisen from hearing. So So here it says the wisdom arisen from hearing realize them when hearing them for the first time means that these actualities one has to realize it for the first time by depending on the wisdom arisen from hearing. So if you want, we need to realize them. We need to realize these actualities, and we need to realize these actualities depending on the wisdom arisen from hearing immediately. So for the first time or initially, we have to depend on the wisdom arisen from hearing. The other way of saying this is we have to these actualities must be realized depending on by the so we must realize these actualities depending on the wisdom of hearing. So in other words is we have to realize these actualities depending on the expressive words or the words that are the expressors. So which refer to these treatises. So we must realize these actualities depending on the wisdom arisen from hearing. So wisdom arisen from hearing also refers to these treatises, the expressor. So we have to realize them, and then in dependence on these expressive words, and then gradually the wisdom arisen from contemplation and wisdom arisen from meditation will gradually arise. So what does it mean? In summary, it means that in summary, it says, therefore, this shows that what is meant by this treatise being the support for the seven actualities. Through these treatises, taking the seven actualities as its subject or objects of expression, the wisdom of hearing and concentration first arise, and then and the supramundane paths are then generated based on those. Yeah, so this process can also be understood as what is meant by the treatise taking the path as its subject. So, so we need to realize that these seven actualities are realized by depending on wisdom of hearing. So this wisdom of hearing is the support. So this wisdom of hearing is the support, and this wisdom of hearing refers to this treatise that takes the seven actualities as its subject or object of expression. So, and then by depending on wisdom of hearing on these treaties, and then the wisdom arisen from meditation. Sorry, wisdom arisen from contemplation and concentration will arise, and then the supramundane paths will be generated based on those. So we stop here. We conclude with dedication. We dedicate these roots of virtue to the flourishing of Buddha Dharma and to the excellent happiness of all sentient beings. We also dedicate these roots of virtue for all upholders of Buddha's teaching. Mainly His Holiness Dalai Lama to live eons long, to have excellent health, and may all the enlightened activities and holy wishes be accomplished instantaneously and spread in all directions. In particular, we dedicate these roots of virtue to our beloved teacher, Gyaltsab Lama Zopa Rinpoche. So the reincarnations of Rinpoche has already taken rebirth. So may the unmistaken reincarnations of Rinpoche be, continue to turn the wheel of Dharma for the sake of teachings and sentient beings, so that we will have the opportunity to receive profound teachings from Rinpoche again. We also dedicate these roots of virtue to for world peace, and may excellent happiness prevail in the world. May wars, pandemic, disaster, natural disaster be pacified immediately. Thank you.